And then they do the human thing that comes naturally as well, the same thing that everybody does in the midst of the storm. They try to find somebody to blame for it. So the captain came and said to Jonah, "What do you mean, you sleeper? Arise, call out to your God. Perhaps the God will give a thought to us that we may not perish." "What are you doing down here asleep, Jonah? This is an all-hands-on-deck sort of situation, and your praying to your God might just put us all over the line. Why aren't you getting your faith out where it can do some good, Jonah? We're all going to die if you don't." So basically, the captain is rebuking Jonah for being aloof and detached from the problems on the ship. That's really what's going on here. Jonah doesn't even know their predicament. He's asleep. Do you see that in a sense Jonah represents the church in what this looks like? People are encountering storms. Problems are wrecking people's lives, and yet the church is blissfully asleep, unencumbered with all of their stress and angst. To quote an old Keith Green song, "The world is sleeping in the dark that the church just can't fight because it's asleep in the light." Now, the captain doesn't know that Jonah can do anything about the storm. Just like the world doesn't know that the church can help them. They just want help. And that's why they're crying out. That's why the captain is crying out. Isn't it interesting, though, that it takes a pagan to teach Jonah his job, his role, what it really is? Jonah's on the run. Jonah is hiding from the presence of God, which at the moment is the storm. And the pagan is like, "Get up, get busy. Go contact your God, whoever he is. This is no time for feeling sorry for yourself." Now, that's the captain. The sailors, on the other hand, are doing everything they physically could. And after all of their empty prayers go up to their non-existent gods and do nothing, now they want to know, why is this happening to us? Who is to blame for all of this? Verse 7, "And they said to one another, 'Come, let's cast lots, that we may know on whose account this evil has come upon us.' And so they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. And then they said to him, 'Tell us on whose account this evil has come upon us.'" Everything points to Jonah at this point. "Okay, Jonah, what is happening to us? Get talking." Now we're finally back to verse 9, which, as we said, is the center of this chiasm. This is what we're supposed to see. This is what we're supposed to focus on. "And he said to them, 'I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land.'" He says, "I worship a God that is greater than anything you've been taught. I worship a God who is omnipotent and omniscient and sovereign over all that is," which sounds great. Except let's not forget what Jonah's real problem is. It's Jonah's self-righteousness that has Jonah here in this situation to begin with. And that is what the author wants us to see. The answer to the storm is right there in the verse. And the author is inviting us to ask, really, Jonah? Do you really fear the Lord? Now, given the timing of the writing of Jonah, I think the question then is inferred to us as well. Really, Israel? Do you really fear the Lord? Now, remember that the frame of the inclusio is fear in verse 5 and verse 16. And the central phrase then for this whole passage that starts with fear and ends with fear is this phrase, "And I fear the Lord." Is that true? Is what he is saying actually true? Is it being lived out in reality? See, Jonah is still drowning in his self-righteous pride even as he responds to the pagan sailors. Notice what he leads with. I am a Hebrew. He doesn't lead with God, the God of gods, the God of everything. He leads with, I am a Hebrew. That's the foundation of Jonah's pride. We Hebrews are the people of God. See, ultimately, even as he's answering this, Jonah believed that he was better than these pagans. But he is beginning to wake up to his real situation. So this is my identity. I supposedly fear the Lord, but I've been hiding from him. I haven't been living in fear of him. I haven't been honoring him at all. See, many are in the same boat as Jonah. We say we love God, but our lives, as we actually live them, reveal that it's all just lip service. And what the author is accentuating here is that fact. Is what you say you believe really real to you? All that is happening because the people of God aren't honoring the person of God. That's what the author is getting across through this account. There's no fear of the Lord going on here. And what is amazing is that the pagans are the first to see it. Then the men were exceedingly afraid and said to him, "What is this that you have done?" For the men knew that he was fleeing from the presence of the Lord because he told them. They're afraid. There it is again. That's the theme again coming out. They're thinking, we cast lots. We didn't really think that those lots would do anything real. And then they did. You are the problem. How could anyone think of running from a God? Because that's what they're thinking from. That's the perspective that they have from their background. They're shocked that anyone even contemplate doing something like that from any of their pantheon of available gods, much less the sovereign God that you profess. They don't even know who this God is, and yet they're shocked. They're appalled by what he's doing. Pagans are. And then they immediately start problem solving this new problem. They said to him, "So what shall we do to you, that the sea may quiet down for us?" And they're asking Jonah, hey, this is your God doing this. You're on the run. You caused all of this. What's the solution? What do we need to do to fix this? We'll do anything. And what that means is God has them and Jonah right where he wants them. Jonah, I need you to see that these pagans that you feel you are spiritually superior to, well, that you are just as much a failure as they are, spiritually speaking. And right now, they're going to die along with you because of your failure. See, I chose you, Jonah, not because you were good with words or smarter than the rest. I chose you because I chose you. Don't get a big head. And now I'm working through you. Will you just admit who you are and submit to me? See, that's what the gospel does for everyone who receives it. I chose you because I chose you. Will you admit what you are and just receive it? And that's what Jonah needs to embrace here. But Jonah is only beginning to realize that he's a sinner and that his sin wasn't just his own private thing. His sin was creating messes all over the place because that's what sin does. And that realization is what changes Jonah's perspective, I believe, in this whole passage.